Peace and blessings, everybody. It's Anna Renee here on a beautiful August 3rd at 5 minutes to 5 p.m. here. Beautiful day. Kind of a warm day today. So I got all my windows open except for this one right by me. And if it gets noisy, right now it's pretty calm. If it gets noisy, I'll just jump up and close the windows. Now everything's open. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing very well today. We're going to continue in this fabulous book that I got here, Do It Yourself Astrology. And we're going to go to the sign of Taurus, right? Rather than me going through the entire planetary situation of Aries by itself, right? So we'll be on Aries for a huge long time. Let me just do it like this. I'm going to go through the signs doing sun and moon. Then when I get through all the signs doing sun and moon, then I'll come back and do Mercury and Mars like that. And then go through all the signs doing Mercury and Mars so that everybody gets a chance to pick up a little bit of energy information on their particular sign, okay? But you got to keep in mind that once I start going through all the planets, it's if you don't know what your particular planet, what sign your planet is in your sign, what planet is in your sign, the sign of a particular planet in your chart, let me say that right, then you're just learning about the energy of your sun sign, but the way it would look inside the moon, inside of Mars, Mercury, Venus, and stuff like that. So, it's still interesting and informative. And I say that we should listen to all of these signs, because we all have all of it anyway. We all have everything, you know. A lot of times what we will do is only be interested in our sun sign information. We don't pay attention to nothing else, But you probably have, in fact, you do. You have that sign that you're ignoring. You have it somewhere in your chart. So you would want to know how that sign, how that energy manifests itself in that sign. So, my people, here we go. Here we go. Let me shut down my phone here. There we go. All right. This is so cool. I so much love this book. Now, the last one I did, which was the first one, was Sun and Moon in Aries. So now we're going to skip on over and do Sun and Moon in Taurus. Okay, so let's get with it. I want to make this as straightforward and quick as is possible. We don't want to dilly dally and tarry, as they say in biblical times. All right, the sun in Taurus. The essence, living through stabilizing. Now, when we were doing Aries, right, the sun in Aries is living through doing, all right, because the sun energy is always about living. It's going to be living. But when it's in Aries, it's through doing. And here in Taurus is through stabilizing. Now, the sun in Gemini would be living through communicating, right? And then the sun in Cancer would be living through nurturing, right? And on and on and on. Okay. So in Taurus, it's living through stabilizing. So Taurus is about that stabilizing energy. Okay. Mother Nature's own Beauty and the Beast. Some throw words, some sort of catchphrases that is used to further define Taurus sun. Okay, so no sign is closer to the earth than Taurus the Bull. It is as if the whole purpose of your Taurian life is to maintain the stability of earthly things. However, you can go wrong by interpreting this only to mean having a substantial amount of money and possessions, or being assured of a predictable future in a purely tangible world. In fact, your main possession as a Taurian is your sense of earthly harmony and wholesomeness. Earthly harmony and wholesomeness. That's, I like that, right? When you truly get in touch with this sense, you need worry no longer about blindly reassuring yourself with external possessions and securities. For you will then know and feel that this sense, this art, attracts these very things. So your wholesomeness and your harmony is what's going to attract and does attract to you your possessions and your security, the things that you need so you don't have to worry, your true being, your naturalness. Your Taurian nature is what attracts the goods to you, all right? The things you need to you. If you trust in yourself, another of your solid virtues is the ability to endure change while at the same time conserving those habits and traditions that are so important to a healthy and wholesome physical life. You have to be careful not to let this talent become blunted merely into the ability to resist change, okay? Because we know that that Taurus bull can be stubborn a little bit, just a little bit, even when it is for the good. You know, you don't want to be blindly stubborn, right? You don't want to be stubborn against what's necessary and needed for you, okay? Your broad Taurian back can carry more than you sometimes believe. You got to trust yourself, right? Taurus is the great provider. This is not just in the material sense, but more essentially, it is your calm and unruffled vibration, along with a well vitalized body that can work wonders on the physical and emotional states of others, be it through sensuous affection, massage, good living, artistic expression, or just your sheer physical presence that emanates that aura of stability. Oh, you just bring calmness to the people. You have such a beautiful energy of stability and just peacefulness, and beauty, that just you being your natural self calms those who you love and who are around you. Wow, that's deep. I like that. I really do. That's beautiful. Okay. And then sensual. You are very sensual. You like the affectionateness, the massaging, the good living. After all, it is Venus that rules over Taurus, right? Excuse me, my people. I have been eating tons of mangoes and they have just been cleaning me out. Seriously, mucus. The mucus is just, you know what I mean? From those mangoes that I went and got. Mangoes are very cleansing. And so I'm feeling that. So excuse me for the stuff. So, where was I? This is not just in a material sense, but more essentially, it is your calm and unruffled vibration, along with a well vitalized body that can work wonders on the physical and emotional state of others, be it through sensuous affection, massage, good living, artistic expression, or just your sheer physical presence that emanates the aura of stability, that feeling that the earth and heaven are in their respective and proper places. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Heaven and earth is just right there, and it's just a beautiful calming effect that's going on, that Venus energy. However, the other side of your earthy wisdom and natural docility is probably your most dangerous state, that of sluggishness, inertia, and grossness. the beast, born of a fear of change or of what you cannot handle. Fear of changing or fear of what you can't handle. When you fall into this state, it is only a matter of time before you attract someone or something that will make such immobility uncomfortable and compromising. It is then that a change has to be made and something let go of. When you make such a change, you then discover how much more stable things become as a result. So, if you fall into that energy of docility or stubbornness or stuckness, as soon as you make that change, things come right back to you. Your beautiful energy returns, and all is well once again. Wow, I love that. Okay. Ultimately, as a Taurian, you have to discover your truest, deepest, and highest values. This is symbolized by ascending terraces of sweeter and sweeter clover. Yeah, we know about the energy of that bull who just wants to peacefully eat the clover in the fields and just, be his beautiful self. He's big, he's beautiful, he's peaceful, but don't mess with him, okay? Don't mess with him, okay? That's when, things go south, okay? When you know what is truly valuable, you are no longer chained to people and to things that have to do with lesser values. The greatest indication of value is beauty, which cannot be owned but only appreciated. Wow, that's deep. You can't own beauty, you can only appreciate beauty. That reminds me of the saying that they say when you try to grasp the butterfly and put it in a jar because it's so beautiful. It's something like that. That's when you end up killing it. Something to that effect. You have to appreciate beauty, not try to own it. That's interesting. Okay. And as a Taurian, you certainly know how to appreciate beauty, not only in the sense of being aware of its value, but also through implanting and increasing its value in the hearts and minds of others. Oh, so you share that love of beauty with others. That's your claim to fame. It's beautiful. So the sun in Taurus in the transformer. Okay, you guys know about the transformer situation. It talks positive, negatives, problems, and solutions, and it goes cyclic. Okay, so let's see the positives of the Taurian energy in the sun: earthy, sensuous, artistic, productive, practical, provider. And in the negative, it's materialistic, hedonistic, gross and extravagant, and prodigal. Prodigal. Hmm. Went off to delve deeply into some nasty thing, overabundance of something that you shouldn't have indulged in, and then you end up having to come back. That's that story of the prodigal son in the Bible. Okay. So the negative is that materialistic, hedonistic, gross and extravagant, and prodigal. But the problem is feelings of self disgust and dissatisfaction, of life lacking any meaning, addicted to sensations. Wow. Okay. Self disgust and dissatisfaction. That's the problem. When your mind is not right, if you're feeling disgusted by yourself or dissatisfied. You're supposed to love the beauty, you're not supposed to be disgusted in the beauty. Maybe you went overboard, and it becomes disgusting, becomes overindulgent, and you don't like it. So the solution would be know that the value of earthly things is simply that they serve to keep bodies happy and healthy. You got to come back to a true understanding of what it all means. Don't overdo it. You just want to stay happy, stay healthy. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to get stuck in it. Okay. More positive, steadfast and stable, unruffled and calm, even tempered and soothing. Yes. Or the negative would be plodding and ponderous, sluggish and lazy. boneheaded, and boring. Okay, so seems like the negatives with the Taurus is when they become just so kind of stuck. They just slow down and they become sluggish rather than calm and peacefully moving. They just get stuck in their mind, in their energy, in their body, just and even boring, which is more stuckness. So that's the negative. What's the problem? Feeling of inertia and uneasiness. Fear of change. Others get bored and impatient with you. Oh, okay, that's interesting. A feeling of inertia and uneasiness. So you're uneasy. Of course, you're going to be fearful of change, okay? And so you end up getting stuck and you just stay there. You just stay there, stay. You stay in the same place. And then people lose interest. I guess that's how you end up being bored, boring to others because you are afraid to move forward and you just become stuck. You end up being upset at even yourself, that inertia. Okay. So the solution is to realize that during and after periods of stress, you can be a source of reassurance to others. During periods of stress and after periods of stress. During periods of stress, you can be a source of reassurance to others. Wow, that's interesting. Even during your periods of stress, you can be reassuring to others. I wonder how that would be, you know. You Taurians know how that is. So, going up the transformer again, self love, the positives, self trusting, I should say, loyal, persevering, and trustworthy. Okay. But the negative of that is self satisfied, possessive, stubborn, bigoted, and fanatical. Okay, now that's more of that being stuck kind of energy. You're self satisfied. You think you're the business and nobody else is. Okay, self-satisfied. All right, possessive. You want to hold on to everything, okay? You're too focused in the earthly things once again rather than your positive energy instead, okay? So, the problem is fear of loss, feeling of jealousy, of beliefs in or followers turning against you. Oh, so you become fearful of your beliefs turning against you and of your followers turning against you. Wow. So basically, that's fear that's causing you to become self satisfied, possessive, stubborn, bigoted, fanatical. It's fear. It's always fear, isn't it? It's always fear, okay? Fear of loss. You don't want to lose anything, okay? We can say that about anybody, really, can't we? So, what your solution would be, you have the power to attract faithfulness. See, that's your attractive nature. That Venus action working for you. You got to remember your Venus energy, okay? That beauty, that energy is going to bring to you. You can bring it, you can attract it. You got that energy. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Okay, you have the power to attract faithfulness. But being unable to let go signifies a lack of faith. Oh, so if you can't let go, then you're showing a lack of faith. And that's something that's hard for a lot of people. Everybody has the issues of fearing letting go. But it's especially something for the Venus energy that resides within you, very wonderful Taurus people, okay? That's your whole nature, okay? Being that energy that just attracts people, calms people, brings beauty to the hearts of people. Your very nature, your very presence changes people for the better. Okay, you got to be trusting in that within yourself. But it's easy to come back around. If you fell off a little bit, you lost, you became fearful. You can come back to the truth of who you really are. So more positives: appreciative, admiring, affectionate, and aesthetic. Or the negative would be self-gratifying, idolatrous, lecherous, and aloof. The problem would be the world of the senses feels less and less appealing and more appalling. The world of the senses feel less and less appealing and more appalling. It sounds more like that you've fallen out of alignment with the truth of your beauty. Something has knocked you out of your square, knocked you off your square, okay? And you start feeling like things and beauty and stuff becomes appalling to you, rather than beautiful to you. What is that about? Okay. So the solution is to discover your truest and highest values. Got to go right back to your true self once again. Then realize how well you can express them physically. You got to remember your beauty, remember your ability. You have a lot of power in that beautiful Venus self of yours, okay? So let's go back up one more circle to the positive, which is physically comforting, magnetically healing, and attractive. While Taurus has a whole lot of healing energy just within themselves. Their very nature is healing, more so than the healing arts that they're going to be great at anyway, like massage, touch, art, healing art, okay? That's going to be very powerful in the Taurus energy. And it's very attractive and attracting, and physically comforting, magnetically healing, and attractive. You're just like a beautiful magnet attracting the beauty. You express the beauty just in your vibration alone. And they say that Taurians are always very beautiful physically as well, okay? But a negative is unaware of unseen. Hmm. Unaware of unseen. I wonder what they mean by that. Sucker for good looks and easily attached. Wow, that's interesting. Easily attached. Sometimes we become attached to what's no good. And yeah, a lot of people, not just Taurians, are suckers for good looks. But that Venus energy is a sucker for good looks. For real, okay? Feeling that you are being manipulated, led to a dance, taken for what you got is the problem. Hmm. Well, if you are a sucker for good looks, then yeah, you can actually start feeling that you're being taken advantage of, being manipulated, and taken to the cleaners. Yeah, but it's because you are a sucker for good looks. You can't. Not everything that looks good on the outside is any good. Okay, you got to be able to differentiate that kind of thing. You are not just a body. The solution. You are not just a body, but a set of vibrations that both attracts and is attracted. Okay, that's all right. Well, that's more of the same. That's who you are. You're very attractive and you're very attracting. You're going to attract all kinds of things, sometimes stuff that's not that great. A lot of people are attracted to you. A lot of times, since you are the healer, your energy is that of healing. You're going to attract people who need healing. So you can't be a sucker based on their looks and stuff like that. You got to be able to differentiate, you know. So, my people, that is the energy, the sun in Taurus, okay? So, let's go to the moon in Taurus. I wanted to do it like that. The moon in Taurus. What does the moon in Taurus look like? Because Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is feminine, and the moon is feminine. This is going to be interesting. Okay. So, with the moon, it's always security. Okay. The moon in Aries was, let's see. I mean, okay, let me not live. Okay. The sun in Taurus is living through stabilizing, right? So the moon in Taurus is security through stabilizing. All right. So Taurus is about stabilizing. Okay. But the moon is about security. All right. And the sun is about living out loud. So security through stabilizing, the moon in Taurus, a child of nature and bounty or burden is the key words here. Security is sought through stability, okay, which sounds straightforward enough. And indeed, with Moon in Taurus, you are usually known for your practical and materially dependable nature. A minimum of change is seen as equaling a maximum of security. This emotional stability is the reason for the moon being exalted in Taurus. Okay, I figured something like that would be the case. The moon is exalted in Taurus because they're both positive. I mean, they're both feminine energies, right? So, but unless you are quite happy with a predictable down home sort of life, or have made the ultimate realization that the only totally consistent factor is change itself, then such a need for stability is not going to be so simply met. Complications are then likely to become manifest in a number of ways. Someone else upon whom you are dependent, creating a changes in your body state, especially diseases of the throat and the reproductive system. Hmm. Feelings of boredom and inertia, which is sort of a negative that uh, obviously Taurus can have. Deadlock situations as you try to fulfill needs of security in one camp and of pleasure in another. Deadlock situations as you try to fulfill your needs of security, which is of the moon, in one camp, and of pleasure, which is Venus, in another. So you got some interaction right there. Right. Becoming a beast of burden through failing to appreciate the value of your own broad back. Hmm. Staying too long in an unfruitful relationship because, as they say, that Taurus can be loyal. But if you're in the wrong relationship and you're loyal, then that means you're staying too long because in the end, you're going to still need to leave. So the loyalty doesn't serve you in that kind of a predicament. But then with the moon in Taurus, that security piece, which is the moon, that security part, that's interesting energy, okay? You can become inert, having issues of inertia, okay? Because security wants to stay where it is. Security wants to batten down the hatches and be secure in one place. Okay. So, behind all of this is an issue of self worth. If you're not sure what you are or what you are worth, then a never ending search for some form of external value, material security being mistaken for emotional security, okay, is going to try your decidedly persistent nature in a rather unrewarding fashion. Okay, right, okay. If you get these issues confused, the material security that the moon is going to want and that Taurus is going to want as well, being mistaken for emotional security. See, that emotional security piece is really important, but it's not something that comes about based on how much money you have in your bank. It's not like that. Although it seems easy enough to get the two confused. Yeah, you can have a bunch of money in your bank, Miss Taurus, Mr. Taurus, but if you're not feeling secure emotionally, you're with a person that's got the bank, but in the end, they don't secure you emotionally. You might stay too long right there. In the end, it seems like that emotional piece is more important than that money piece, okay? but it might take a long time to find that out. Okay, material security being mistaken for emotional security is going to try your decidedly persistent nature in a rather unrewarding fashion. Wow. In other words, peace with yourself has to be found before you can really expect it to occur on the outside. Oh, and even if it does, it comes at a very high price. As a child, you possibly felt threatened by some kind of ominous disruption, or were actually a victim of it. Or perhaps your mother had such an anxiety which was transmitted to you and developed into a blind fear of change or a blind need for material security. Wow. And always with the moon energy, there's something that comes through the mother. The moon energy through the signs always has that mother part, and her issues, which seem to come. We inherit our mother's issues through our moon signs, is how it might manifest itself. Now I have moon in Aquarius, so I need to. I'm going to read that and see what that means in terms of my mother issues, if I have any. But for the Taurian, in other words, peace, which is always so important for the Taurian energy, right? Peace and beauty with yourself has to be found before you can really expect it to occur on the outside. So you have to have peace within yourself before you can feel confident with getting your money and stuff like that. Otherwise, confusion can take place and all of that kind of stuff. And if it does, it comes out of, oh, let's see, where was it? Okay. As a child, you possibly felt threatened by some kind of ominous disruption, or were actually a victim of it. Or perhaps your mother had such an anxiety which was transmitted to you and developed into a blind fear of change or a blind need for material security. Another cause of self doubt could be that your mother had similar doubts about herself and therefore was not able to notice and affirm your worth. If your mother had self doubts about her worth, then obviously she's not going to be able to affirm your worth. Therefore, you're going to have issues with that worth piece, which is so important for the Taurian Venus energy, right? Especially a moon in Taurus, especially a moon in Taurus. Okay. So, what is having Taurian moon worth? Most essentially, it is a feeling about you of physical substance and sensuousness that is very reassuring and attractive to others. So, that energy of reassurance and attractiveness is still there with a moon, okay? A Taurus moon, okay? Just like it is with a Taurus sun, but it sort of it expresses itself through security, okay, whereas in the sun it expresses itself through living, okay. The personal, let's see, so what is having Taurian moon work? Most essentially, it is a feeling about you of physical substance and sensuousness that is very reassuring and attractive to others. Instinctively, you know how to identify and satisfy those needs. So it seems like the Taurian energy is so here for others, just being your natural self has an effect on others. You're just a healer, no matter where Taurus falls, and your moon and your sun. It's going to be interesting to see where it falls in Mercury, how it plays itself out in Mercury, and because Mercury is about communication. That's going to be interesting. Okay, we'll get to that next time around, my people. The personal applications of this talent, let's see. Instinctively, you know how to identify and satisfy those needs. Okay, your physical substance and sensuousness that is very reassuring and attractive to others. The personal application of this talent are obvious. The professional ones include any activities that cater for physical needs, such as food and drink, comfort, property management, and production generally. Also, areas of healthcare that connect directly with the physical body, like massage, osteopathy, etc. Artistic senses are pronounced too, especially singing or country crafts. You also have a way with animals that could serve a useful purpose. As nature's child, you have a rich, deep, rich emotions as a result of being so close to Earth. But there is no need to bury yourself in it through seeking too much material security. The gift of a Taurian moon is that material supply will always be forthcoming unless you doubt it. So it seems like with the Taurus energy, you just got to trust in your ability to attract to you because you're super attractive. When you lose touch with your trust in that ability within yourself is when it seems like the well dries up and then you end up falling and losing out and getting stuck and becoming your feet get stuck in the mud, you get stuck, you get lazy, you get become boring, become just you're just stuck. You're not flowing, you're not shining your energetics. You have to trust in your ability to attract everything that you need and want, okay? So, in the transformer, the moon in Taurus, the positives are dependable, consistent, pragmatic, and robust. The negatives are stick in the mud, habit ruled, tunnel vision, and dense. It's always about just getting stuck. Okay. And the problem would be waiting in vain and unable to see your way ahead. Waiting in vain. You get stuck because you're waiting in vain. The solution would be look beyond your fears. It's always coming back to fear. Your fear of loss and identify what you need and what you have right now. You got to remember who you are, is always that for the Taurian. Remember that you are magic, okay? You are attracting. You're Venus. You're ruled by Venus. The beauty and the money, all that is going to come more than just money. You are going to attract the beautiful things that might have money with it. You're going to attract what you need. You lucky Venus person, you. So, more positives: methodical, painstaking, patient, and persistent. You get in there and you get it done, huh? The negatives of that, though, is wooden, overloaded, slow reacting, and bulldozing. Wow. It's important for you not to get stuck because once you get stuck, you really go hard with getting stuck. The problem would be others seem to be either constantly resisting you and avoiding you or forgetting you. Wow. The solution is appreciate others' values and they will appreciate yours. Okay. Lend some weight and lose some. Lend some weight and lose some weight. Okay. So sometimes I guess what they're saying is that the Taurus, they become too self-focused and they can get really stuck in that. Really stuck to the point that they ignore everything and everybody else, even their loved ones around them, which turns people off, right? It's going to turn people off if you don't acknowledge them. At the same time, you're so stuck because of the fears that come. Okay. So, more positives. Okay. You're affectionate, sensuous, generous, good natured. But the negative of that can be demanding, carnal, self indulgent, and hedonistic. Mm, okay. And the problem with that is beset by demands that are physically impossible to meet and they're consuming you. Oh, you got too many irons in the fire. You're doing too much. Too much for you. You got too many demands and it's not good for you. You're supposed to be peacefully going higher and higher and just nibbling on the clover of the world, just being your beautiful self. You can't have too many things going. It doesn't work good for you, okay? You'll end up getting stuck in the mud again. You get scared. So the solution is the rarer the gift, the more valuable it is. Your body is your most valuable physical possession. Oh, your body. You got to remember to be good to your body. Your body is your most valuable physical possession. Your body, okay? Make sure you're good to yourself, okay? Don't try to overdo. You're not here to be like the Aries, going like that. Nah. You attract things to you. You ain't got to go after things like that, okay? So, more positives with the moon in Taurus. Materially aware, organizer, you have good taste, you're thrifty. Or the negative would be money minded, bossy, consumer snob, and mean. So it's a negative to be money minded when you're a Taurus, when you're a moon in Taurus. It's a negative to be money minded. Okay. So the problem is knowing the price of everything and the value of nothing. You are in charge, but not in clover. That clover is very important to you. That clover is not very important. I mean, it is very important to you. You're in charge, but you're not, your energies are not attracting in a good way. You're in charge, but so what? You're not using your superpowers, when you are all focused on bossing the money. The money's supposed to come to you. You don't have to be the boss over the money. You know, you have superpowers. You got to remember this. So the solution is as you measure what things are worth, be mindful of what actually constitutes the quality of life. You got to remember that kind of thing. So, more positives of the moon in Taurus is steady, placid, self reliant, and attuned to nature. Nature is a big piece for the Taurian, right? And a negative would be brooding, listless, insecure, and melancholic. Okay, that sadness piece. It's no good for the Taurian, okay? No good for anybody, really. The brooding, you're just sitting there sad and just, lip poked out and just, listless, meaning you don't have no energy. It's not like you're going to be flying all over the place, moving fast anyway. You're smooth in your movement, okay? Your superpower brings to you what you need, but if it's too much, you start brooding, then you're going to re instead of attracting to you, you're going to be repelling from you, okay? So the problem is feeling very uncomfortable with yourself and the world, feeling let down and hung up. Wow. And so the solution would be when you hit the bottom, you'll know which way is up. Wow. Relax into your inner beauty. When you hit the bottom, you will definitely know which way is up, okay? Because you can't go no further down than the bottom, right? But it'd be better if you don't hit the bottom. Don't hit the bottom. All right, my people. So there it is. That's Taurus. That's the sun in Taurus and the moon in Taurus. It only took me 45 minutes to do it. That's good. I like that. Okay. This energy is so beautiful with the Taurian people. They're calm and peaceful, and their energetics creates calm and peaceful in just the people around them, unless they forget who they are. They get all twisted up, too earthbound, too money focused, too materialistic. Then their superpower just leaves them. And then they end up having to chase after things which is not their nature. So what's going to happen instead? They're going to get stuck in the mud and become just boneheaded, is what they said. It's one of the terms. A stick in the mud, wooden, stuck, unable to move until they come back to themselves and remember who they really are. and allow Venus to come back. And with the moon in Taurus, allow the moon to shine its beautiful light back on you. Once again, Taurus moon. Okay, do you have a moon in Taurus? You need to do your natal chart to find out if you do. Do you find yourself being like any of this? It's possible that you do have the moon in Taurus. All right, my people. So there it is. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all. I hope you enjoyed this series. It's going to go deep because I got to do this for all the signs and we're going to do all the planets. It's going to take me a minute, but it's worth it. This is very important because there's more than the sun in Taurus. Okay. There is the moon in Taurus. I could be a Sagittarian with a moon in Taurus. Okay. But I'm not. I have a moon in Aquarius. But anyway, my people, thank you all for being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share me with your friends on social media. You guys, I need your help. I need you to share me. I need you to comment below. Tell me what your sign is. I'm thinking of doing some natal charts for people who happen to know their birth time and their birthplace. Do you know what time of the day you were born, on what day, and where? For me, like I said before, I was born at 2:35 a.m. on December 21st in San Francisco. So with that information, you can do a full natal chart where you can know what your ascendant is. That's very important information too, because the ascendant gives another level of information about yourself. For me, for example, I know that Libra is my ascendant. That means what sign was coming up on the horizon at the time, or however that works. The ascendant. I need to do more research on that ascendant. Okay, but the ascendant changes every 2 hours, if I'm correct. Every 2 hours, so it's going to be different. You need to know exactly what time you were born in order to know your ascendant. I just did my son's chart and I found out that he has a Cancer ascendant. His ascendant is Cancer and he's a Scorpio, so that's double water right there. But because he's a Scorpio on the cusp, he's got a lot of Sagittarian energy as well because his birthday is on the 21st of November, which is the cusp of that's the cusp between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Okay, but he's Cancer rising. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's just me having fears. As soon as I stop having the fears of my emotional self, which I'm overcoming in leaps and bounds, then I have no reason to have any kind of issues with the Cancer energy, right? My son is a Cancer rising. All right, my people. And his wife is a Gemini rising. Those two are like twins, I tell you. All right, peace and blessings to each and every one of you all. Look out for the next one, which will be what comes next after Taurus, my people? Gemini. What is a moon in Gemini? How does that work? And the sun in Gemini. All right, my people. Peace and love.